Bowel cancer, also known as colorectal cancer, is a subject that deserves our attention, but it doesn't have to be approached in a frightening way. Imagine that the intestine is like a large avenue through which digested food passes on its way to its next stop. Like any busy thoroughfare, obstacles can sometimes arise which, if left untreated, can cause problems. Bowel cancer is one such obstacle, a condition in which abnormal cells begin to grow uncontrollably in the wall of the intestine. The warning signs are like road signs warning us to slow down and pay attention. So today we'll start with number 1. Mass or swelling in the abdomen. Have you ever heard that our body is like an incredible machine, always giving us clues about what's going on inside? That's right. Imagine your abdomen as a chest where a lot of essential equipment is stored. Stomach, intestines, liver, among others. Everything there has its place and function. Now, if you suddenly notice a swelling or feel a strange mass, it's as if something is out of place in that chest. This could be a sign that there is something unusual going on, such as abnormal cell growth. In the case of bowel cancer, this mass could be a tumor that is growing and causing swelling. It may be obstructing the normal flow of the intestine, which can lead to discomfort and even changes in the functioning of the digestive system. And that's when the alarm goes off. Number 2. Persistent changes in bowel habits. Have you ever noticed how our bodies have a kind of routine, which, when altered, seems to send us signals? This also happens with our bowel habits. If something changes and persists for a while, it's the body giving us a signal that there might be something different going on. Think of your intestines as a well-adjusted clock. They have their own rhythm, a way of working that we usually already know. Now, imagine that this clock suddenly starts working in a strange way. You notice diarrhea or constipation that won't go away, even if you change your diet or drink plenty of water. This kind of persistent change could be a sign that something more serious is going on. In the case of bowel cancer, the growth of tumors can interfere with the normal flow of the bowel. They can cause blockages or even change the way the intestines process waste, leading to these changes in habits. Now, of course, not every change in bowel habits is cause for immediate concern. Often, factors such as stress, diet, or even a passing viral infection can be to blame. But if the changes persist for weeks, it's a good idea to schedule a visit to the doctor. Number 3. Unexplained anemia. First, let's remember what anemia is. Basically, it's when your body doesn't have enough red blood cells to carry oxygen through the blood. The result? Tiredness, weakness, and that feeling of having no energy for anything. Now, if anemia appears without an obvious explanation, such as a diet low in iron or visible blood loss, it could be an indication of something more serious going on. In the case of bowel cancer, especially in the early stages, small tumors can cause discrete and continuous bleeding inside the intestine. This bleeding, often imperceptible to the naked eye, can lead to chronic blood loss, resulting in anemia. As the bleeding is internal and slow, you may not notice anything different, but your body starts to show signs of tiredness and weakness. This is where unexplained anemia comes in, like a body detective, signaling that something is wrong. If you're feeling constantly tired and the doctor discovers anemia with no apparent cause, it's a wake-up call to investigate further. Examinations such as colonoscopy can help identify if there is a problem in the intestine. Number 4. Unexplained weight loss. Losing weight for no reason. It may seem like a dream for those who want to lose weight, but when the scales start to drop without you doing anything different, it's time to pay attention. Normally, losing weight involves some effort, such as changing your diet or increasing your physical activity. But when the weight starts to drop without any of these changes, it's the body trying to tell you something. In the case of bowel cancer, this can happen because tumors grow and start to use a lot of the body's energy to develop. In addition, they can interfere with the way the body absorbs nutrients, causing this weight loss. Another important point is that cancer can trigger an inflammatory response in the body. This chronic inflammation can speed up the metabolism or lead to a loss of appetite, further contributing to unexplained weight loss. The body then starts to lose weight without you realizing why. Number 5. Abdominal pain or discomfort. Everyone has felt a little pain or discomfort in the abdomen after a heavy meal or a night of overindulging, right? But when this abdominal pain or discomfort starts to become frequent and persistent, it's good to keep an eye on it because it could be a warning sign, including for bowel cancer. In the case of bowel cancer, this pain or discomfort can arise because the tumor is growing and literally disrupting traffic inside the intestine. It may be that the tumor is causing partial or total obstruction, which prevents the normal passage of food and waste. This results in pain, bloating, and even cramps. In addition, the growth of the tumor can cause inflammation in the intestinal wall, further contributing to this discomfort. Most importantly, when the pain is persistent and doesn't go away with common remedies or dietary changes, it's the body telling you that something needs to be investigated. Of course, not all abdominal pain is cause for panic. It could be something as simple as gas or poor digestion. But if the discomfort keeps returning, it's time to see a doctor. He or she will be able to carry out tests and check that everything is fine. Number 6. Feeling of incomplete emptying of the bowel. Have you ever had the feeling that even after going to the toilet, there's still something left in there? This feeling of incomplete emptying of the bowel can be more than a nuisance. Let's imagine the intestine as a road along which traffic, or rather waste, needs to flow freely. When everything is normal, you feel like you've closed the loop when you go to the toilet. But if you feel like you haven't emptied completely, it's as if something is blocking or restricting the path. In the case of bowel cancer, this sensation can be caused by tumors growing inside the intestinal wall. These tumors can create a kind of partial obstacle, hindering the passage of waste and giving the impression that you haven't managed to finish the process. It's as if the intestine is saying, "There's still more work to do here." Of course, this sensation can occur for other reasons, such as constipation or irritable bowel syndrome. But if it becomes frequent and persistent, it's important to see a doctor. Number 7. Persistent fatigue. You know that tiredness that seems to never end, even after a good night's sleep or a restful day? When you feel tired all the time, it can feel like your body is simply asking for a break. But if that tiredness doesn't go away, even when you try to rest, it could be related to something deeper. In the case of bowel cancer, this is because the body is trying to cope with the growing tumor, and this requires an extra amount of energy. In addition, cancer can cause slow and continuous blood loss, especially if the tumor is bleeding discreetly inside the intestine without you noticing. This chronic bleeding can lead to anemia, which is one of the main causes of feeling extremely tired. Without enough blood and, consequently, oxygen being transported efficiently to the organs, the body starts working at full throttle to compensate, and you feel exhausted. Persistent fatigue can also be related to the body's inflammatory response. When something is wrong, the immune system kicks in, which can increase energy expenditure and leave you feeling more tired than usual. Now, of course, there are many reasons for fatigue, and not all fatigue means cancer. It could be anything from a busy week to sleep problems. Now that we've explored some important warning signs of bowel cancer, it's time to take a step back and reflect on how to look after ourselves on a daily basis. Our body is amazing, always sending us messages to keep us in tune with our health. When something seems out of the ordinary, such as persistent pain, unexplained tiredness, or changes in bowel habits, it's asking for attention. Remember, there's no need to panic when any of these signs appear. Often, these symptoms can be caused by much less serious things, such as a change in diet or a bit of stress. But if these signs continue for a while or intensify, it's important to see a doctor. And if you enjoyed the video, please subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on the next ones.